Okay, here's the next segment. Is something that I prepared. We decided that every month when we gather, one of us will have his own little segment and something that we want to talk about in particular. And this month I decided to talk about camping in Korea. I started camping a few years ago in Korea, 2 years ago. When COVID happened, we had a lot of days off left over. We couldn't go back home or go on vacation in Thailand or the usual vacations that we like to go. So we used our days to go camping. So I'm gonna show you that little video and we can talk a little bit about it after. There's something a little bit special about this video. I don't know if you guys will notice it or not, but stick until the end of the video and I'll assure you it's pretty mind-blowing what I have to tell you about this video. Yeah, all right. So here we are. You ready?
Yeah.
After a long and cold winter, we went on our first camping trip of the year. I am still a beginner camper, but I think I can give you a little overview of what camping in Korea is. The first good thing is that you don't need to travel really far from the city to find a campsite. For the first trip of the year, we didn't want to go too far, so we drove to Gimpo. It's a 20-minute car ride from where we live. As you can see, we arrived under a cloudy weather, and we were expecting rain later that day. Here we are finding the spot we booked to settle our camp. In Korea there are two sort of camping sites. The first one is just an area where camping is allowed, and the second one is actually maintained by someone and everyone has to book their spot. We can see on the left the common area with toilets, shower, dishwashing room and a little self-served store. Every time we go to a camping site, my wife and I try to find the lot that is the most secluded from the other people to have some privacy. We found the spot we booked and parked in front of it to start unloading our stuff. And now the fun begins. It's time to build the camp. We started camping last year, so we only have the basic equipments. A tent, a tarp, table and chairs are the bare minimum to go camping. The spot we chose really have nothing except for the electricity. There are other spots where sometimes you have water in proximity, and some have a wooden deck where you build your tent on and a roof for a cozier stay. I like to have electricity available, especially during winter, but for the rest I like to keep things as simple as possible. We nearly finished the camp. It's time to contemplate our work and the surroundings. Clearly not the best scenery since it's winter time, but this place is surrounded by cherry blossom trees, and we heard it is beautiful in April. This was kind of a recon mission for spring, and also just a good excuse to get away from the city for a night. After a well-deserved cocktail to reward ourselves for our efforts, we took a little stroll around the camping area. It's Sunday, so the camping is nearly empty, and it feels really good to have some quietness after a busy week in the city. Here is the little store I mentioned earlier. You can buy some wood, food, water and a few others useful equipments for camping. You take whatever you need, check the price, and send the money to the bank account written on the sign. Time to start the campfire with the wood we just bought, and start cooking dinner. There is nothing better than a barbecue on a campfire. Before I end this video, I must make you hungry by showing you some juicy Korean pork grilling on the fire. I hope you enjoyed this little overview of Korean style camping. Somewhat a little far from my Swiss camping experience, but it's always a real pleasure quickly going away from the city and a good time with your family and friends. Thanks for watching.
All right. So before we talk about camping in Korea a little bit, what do you think was special about this video?
Did you say there's like a twist or something at the end?
Not a twist. I mean, I'm just saying that something was special about this video, and if I tell you, I think you'll be pretty surprised of what it is.
Really? I have no idea at all.
You
So.
have no idea?
Yeah.
You mentioned something before that my voice was a little bit weird when it
Ah,
started.
right, yeah. Yeah, your voice was definitely a bit different. So I was
What do you
wondering.
think it can be?
I said to you, it must have filtered it or something, because
Filtered?
it sounded like I don't know, like a narrator of like a murder mystery or something. I don't know.
No other ideas? No?
No.
Well, I can tell you that I never recorded any of that. I just typed the text and an AI just
Oh, really?
copied my voice.
How did it copy your voice?
Well, you have to send some training
Yeah.
you have to send some training data to that software, and
Right.
then it just generate your voice based on whatever. I just make that script.
Wow.
I just typed it out, and then I just recorded the video with my AI voice.
That's interesting, huh?
Crazy, right?
Yeah. I knew it was you, but I didn't. I thought it definitely sounded different. But oh my god, it scares me to think like how that could be used for something, more sinister.
Yeah. So, well, apparently, you have to give like your own consent with your own voice. You have to say you consent to that software is going to be able to use your voice. So you send your training
Right.
data. It's like you record yourself for like 10-15 minutes, and then you have to have a spoken consent, and they match the consent voice with the training voice, and they allow you to use that voice only if you're the one who actually
give them permission.
give them permission.
Wow, it's cool. I'll have to try it.
So yeah, I've tried AI voice a few years ago, and it was already interesting, but it was nowhere near that. Like it doesn't even sound robotic, and you can put some intonation. If you put a comma in the sentence, you pause a little bit, and it almost, I mean, you wouldn't have like the excitement, or that would be hard to transcribe. I mean, who knows, in a few months or years it will be possible.
Yeah.
But so for podcast, or it would be hard to use that because it would be a little bit too flat. But for like tutorials or things, there are so many videos online that you don't really need like some
right
cheerful interactions, or can you imagine like the time you earn like you make a tutorial video like this, you just type out the script and you let the AI voice just do the rest, and you don't have to
without any errors,
you don't have to re-record. And for people like me, I'm not a native speaker, I'm not an English native speaker, so sometimes I don't like my pronunciation, and even here like it use my voice, it makes sure that all the words are always.
So you speak better than me, so don't worry about it.
My AI voice will speak better than you.
I'd love to try it with Dan. I really want to see what Dan's version is like when you say it on the AI.
So do you have
I have a few questions about camping. Firstly, I'm curious, how much was it for that whole to stay there?
So it's like usually a night I'd say between 20 and 50.
Right.
For a night.
Yeah. And then you got your extras like your wood and stuff like that. Yeah, because I was trying to work out why you'd want to go camping and not like in a hotel or something like that. So
it's not about the price, because to be honest, if you buy the whole equipment also, it's pretty expensive, and Koreans, they always like to buy the most expensive stuff for whatever, even camping, they would like to have the latest technology for campfire and like the LED lights, and
it has to be branded or something.
It has to be branded. So it's not about money. It's just it's a fun adventure with your wife or friends. It's building the tent and doing something. Sometimes you go hotel, and I mean, it's cool, it's relaxed, and you go to the swimming pool, and then you go back to the room, and it's not like there's like many things to do in the hotel. I mean, after you can take the car and go out and do other things, but the camping is already its own activity, building the campsite and cooking, and it just makes it fun, and
in summer, like the reason why I was wondering, so because when you sent me the pictures originally, I was just like, because this was like February when you went, and I was like, why is he going camping in like when it's still freezing cold, and there's no like grass or anything, like so I was just curious.
Well, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's clearly not the best scenery, and it's not. I wouldn't recommend. I mean, unless you go and there is snow, which would be a pretty scenery, I wouldn't recommend it going during wintertime.
Right. And I think like the further you get out into Seoul, the more remote it is and the more obviously like beauty is, but being in like there, you have got the convenience just to go like like you said, only 20 minutes or something.
Like I said, if you want to go, you're living in Seoul, and let's say you want to have a quick relaxing weekend, well, you go to a hotel in Seoul, and then what do you do? But here, even if you go to a camping site in Seoul or like a little bit outside Seoul, then you still have some, you can see some nature, and it's just makes it more interesting.
I'm guessing you use like a sleeping like mat or something because you're on concrete, right? It's on stones.
Yeah, there's like some
Yeah.
little inflatable
Right.
mattress, and
It was all right.
we had a heating pad because it's winter time, so
Yeah.
it's still pretty cold.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
try. I mean, just if you
Yeah.
only buy a tent, which is like a tent for 2 person is like around 150, 200.
Right.
Just buy one and you can come with us one day.
Maybe. The last time I did camping was when we went to a festival here. What was it, the Pentaport Festival? And after that, I was like, I'm never camping again. It was like middle of July, August. It was red hot, and the showers were just disgusting. I was like, I'm too old for this festival life. My
I'll-
wife was loving it, like, but I was like, no way.
I'll make you like camping again.
Yeah,
One day you'll come with us and I'll show you.
Maybe again the countryside. I don't want to be sleeping on rocks or whatever.
It's pretty comfortable.